What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Havoc Sports Podcast, episode 43.
Big 43, and it's a recap for us. You know, we've had a little bit of time. We took last week off. We spent a little bit of time looking at our draft picks. Everybody had their press conferences.
Yep.
Rookies are back. Our rookies are at training camp. They arrived last week, so we got to see a little bit of what they're doing. And so we thought we would take this episode and give a recap over our draft picks. And I think at least mine, and I guess ours was boring. You know, ours was like, you know, what?
Second day was where it was for me.
Yeah,
ours exciting.
Ours was just like always like, what are we doing? You know, like what's going on here? What's the plan? No, it's a great episode 43. We hope you guys enjoy. Let's go ahead and get straight into it at the first round.
Yep.
You guys had the first pick, so we'll let you get into your guys' first round pick, and I think going to be a lock blue chip.
Yeah, and just to give a little insight to the slides that are going to be popping up for the people watching on YouTube, you're going to see the grades that we gave. I gave the Patriots an A-. Harry gave the Bears a B-. But yeah, first round, they took Will Campbell. We knew it was going to be Will Campbell. My buddy, our buddy, who's a Patriots fan, was not happy. He wanted Ginty.
Yeah.
I thought this was one. I'm happy that we got a lineman. Don't get me wrong. But I thought this was one where you could trade back to like 7, 8, and get your choice of Mimbu or Will Campbell.
Yeah.
The only concern I have is with his arms being so short, if he cannot play tackle in the league, he can become a lock guard, which is great, but you're not taking an offensive guard with the 4th pick of the draft.
Right.
You're just not doing it.
They're going to play him
day and age.
Yeah, they're going to play him at tackle. I think you got to give him a year.
You have to try it.
Yeah.
At 4, you have to.
Yeah, and the thing is like you look at your team, you're like, yeah, you know, it would have been great to get a playmaker to help your offense. But at the same time, if your playmaker already there, who's Drake May, can't do anything because the line is ferocious, you might as well address it with the 4th pick, and it's the best lineman in the draft by far. In my personal opinion, it don't matter how short your arms are. He knows how to use those short arms.
You had to get line.
Yeah, and I think it's another draft pick of it's really good for – it's basically saying, yeah, we trust you, Drake May. You're a franchise quarterback, so we're going to go out here and get you a backside left tackle so you don't get smashed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And
we're going to let you do your work.
I think with his post-draft little interview, I think he definitely received a lot of love from the Patriots.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional one, too.
I think Drake May had 2 concussions last year.
Yep.
So the fact that his words to fight and die to protect Drake May, that is exactly what you want to hear from a lineman.
Right. And I think with Will Campbell, like you said, I would have been happy to take him at 10, but falling to you guys, obviously needed it. It's a great pick. I would give that pick an A+ for sure, just because it's an absolute need. You know what I mean?
You had to have linemen. And as a Patriots fan, you're just hoping he can stay at tackle.
Yeah.
Because Owenu's going to bounce inside. I think Owenu's a good guard.
You got Strange.
You're going to have Strange. I think Strange is okay. He's not the great. It definitely wasn't a first-round pick, but he's suitable. So you have the guards taken care of.
You got Bradbury.
Yeah, and we're going to get into center a little bit later down the line in this draft, but you have the position, so you really needed that left tackle. You just signed Moses to right tackle, so you're really hoping this pans out, and I think it will. He seems like a freak athlete, and there's 4 of them. Wirfs was one of them. I think Mimbu, but you have these guys that are undersized, like Penei Sewell, but they're a freak athlete, and they can play the left tackle spot.
Right.
So I think he'll be okay.
Right, and I think that's getting into my first pick in the draft, or our first round pick in the draft. Do I think he's going to be all right? It's Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan. I think everybody's probably seen it and heard about it. Do I think he's going to be all right? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think he's going to impact us for our first round pick? Absolutely not. I don't think, I just don't like it. I don't know why, but everybody says you gotta trust. You gotta trust. You know what I mean? Ben Johnson, he knows what he sees.
Which he does like that double tight set.
But like the thing is man, I really like to just have a first round pick on even the D line or the O line or anything.
Yeah. There was a lot of options.
And the thing is it's pick 10, so it could be a utility pick. It's not like wow, we took an offensive lineman or defensive lineman at pick 10. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we took Mikael Williams or something like that. Whoever went, I think he went right after to the 49ers.
To the 49ers,
so,
I think Jalen Walker was there too.
Yep. And I think, do I think it's a good pick? No. Am I going to say, I'm not going to judge it until I see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, holy cow, this is the worst pick in Bears history.
As of right now, before seeing anything, it's not a good pick.
No, it's not a good pick at all.
In my opinion, and again, it could turn out different. Like we just said, we're reacting to it as of the draft just happened. We have not seen preseason. We have not seen regular season.
Right.
I don't think Loveland was the best tight end on the board. I agree with you that this should have been a line pick, D-line, O-line. And I would have leaned more towards like O-line or D-line because O-line, I think there was 3 tackles taken, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one kind of came out of nowhere. I know they were talking a lot about putting him in the slot.
Yeah.
And we'll get into why that might not work now later, which also didn't make much sense.
And the thing is, for me, is I went from having my hands on my head, like being excited, to just like putting my hands down and just like in shock that I just heard a tight end drafted by the Chicago Bears.
And
in the
the blocking
round.
highlights.
Yeah. And the first highlight was a blocking highlight for Gus Edwards or whoever. Who's that? Donovan Edwards, the dude that stinks that was on the college football playoffs or college football game cover. But Coastal 11 don't make a lot of sense. But moving into the second round, I think this is where we start getting our GMs start cooking a little bit here.
Yeah.
But
you want me to start it?
Oh yeah.
All right. So 3 picks for the Patriots happened in the second night.
That's why I want you to start it because it's a long night.
So I'll just list them off and then I'll kind of break them down little by little. But in round 2 we took TreVeyon Henderson. Round 3 was Kyle Williams, and round 4 was Jared Wilson. And of those picks, I am probably most excited about Kyle Williams.
Yeah,
we talked about him in the draft steal potential. This guy has the potential. He's going to be a wide receiver. I think he'll be a wide receiver 2 to start.
Yeah, I think he'll be a wide receiver 2 for sure.
And Diggs is going to teach him the ropes a little bit.
Douglas,
and then he's just going to explode.
Douglas
Douglas slot. TreVeyon Henderson is explosive. I think he's going to be a good matchup with Stevenson, and then I think he's eventually going to take Stevenson's job, but you did just give him a pretty big contract. And then you went and got the best center in the draft. So you hit all positions of need, and for once, you hit best player available at those spots.
Right.
Last year, you took Jalen Polk in the second round, who was not the best player available at that spot, and you just swung for the fences, you completely struck out. I love all these players. I can see the explosiveness in our running back and wide receiver, and you're getting more weapons for Drake May. You're showing that you're investing in the quarterback. What we saw with Mac Jones was no investment. You just left him high and dry, and look what happened to him. And I really don't think that's Mac Jones' fault. I think that's what the Patriots did to help him, which was nothing. Here you see the offensive line investment. You're seeing the wide receiver and the skill position investment. You went and got Stephon Diggs. You were surrounding Drake May with pieces that can hopefully lead to success more down the line.
Right, and I think it was the same thing. It relates back to the first round pick you guys had. It's just showing that, Drake May, we're getting you everything you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
we liked what we saw.
Yeah, we liked what you saw, and we're hoping you could stay healthy for us this season. So I think we're leaving some pressure off him so he doesn't have to use as much of his legs as he did last year. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Just having someone deep threat like Diggs, Williams, and Douglas.
Love that
it's going to be.
I even texted you about it. I said, is he going to fall? Is he going to make it to us in round 3? And we took him, and I was so excited because we had just talked about that potential with him being a steal, with having a bad quarterback, with having a good quarterback, still putting up those high productions. And now he gets to go and show out in the league. So very happy with the Patriots.
Right. And it kind of with the Bears, it's kind of the same thing. We had 3 second-round picks as well. We traded back a lot. I think we traded back with the Buffalo Bills with the Carolina Panthers second round to get 2 second-round picks with some ones they had. And so our first second round was another pick, and I was just like, what are we – I mean, it's a best player available, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, it just contradicts the first-round pick so much because we were like, man, we're going to play Colston Loveland at the slot because – he's smaller, he's quick on his feet, he's got good routes. Then all of a sudden you go out here and draft Luther Burden. You're like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, awesome. This is great. But at the same time, it's like, what are we gonna do with Colston Loveland now? Is he even gonna see the field? You know what I mean? It's
you took best player available, which with having Burden, that kind of makes me wonder if DJ Moore is going to be around for a foreseeable future.
Right.
Because everyone else is really, really young.
Yeah, he is getting older, and that's for sure.
So that is kind of why I think that's the only thing I can think of why you would go Burden, is because eventually you're going to see that growth and development to where you can get off of that foreseeable big contract when it comes back up.
And he is getting, like you said, I think he's 28, 29 this year.
Yeah.
So he's getting a little older. Definitely a future pick, but man, in round 2, it's kind of hard. But moving on to the next second-round pick, it was Ozzy Trapilo, and this is a guy that it was just kind of like a Will Campbell, but in a smaller stage, and he's got the size.
Yeah.
He's 6'8". He's played left tackle, right tackle. He had 500 and something snaps without a
he's a
penalty. He's really good. You know what I mean? He came from Boston College, I believe. So he's a really good guy. But yet again, it's like, man, we said, Braxton Jones Jr. is going to be our starting tackle. But, it's just I think this guy here, he's going to be more of a right tackle. So it really makes me wonder if we want to swing Darnell Wright, our right tackle, to left tackle. Because our left tackle, Braxton Jones, has gotten hurt every season, and he stinks. He stinks.
I think Darnell Wright it's about time to switch him over because you took a high investment in him. He was the first tackle off of that 4 big tackle potential draft.
Yeah, and he wasn't even supposed to be.
Yeah, so you took a big investment there, and you're going to need it to pan out soon, and playing him at right tackle is good, but that's not why you took him there.
Right.
I think this is a guy that can definitely step up and become a right tackle. Like you said, it's a lot easier to transition into the league if you have to play right tackle rather than left.
Exactly.
You see a lot more success on the right tackle side.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is you're 6'8". You better be. I mean, you got to be able to be quick on your feet at being 6'8" and being the NFL.
But I think he could definitely step in, honestly, and be ready to go. He showed potential. He looks like a hidden gem.
Right.
So to be able to get him.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him before, but when I saw his highlights, I'm like, okay, this guy's a bear, man.
There's definitely.
This guy's a bear for sure. And so that's definitely a pick that we needed for depth, at least, that we struggled with last year, just because, I mean, you looked at our line. When we weren't healthy, he was just getting, Caleb was getting murdered.
Yeah.
He was bad. So.
Yeah, breaking down day 3.
Yes, sir.
Round 4. And this will probably be the last round we break down. Do want to give out a shout out to the other guys. Just, it's a draft day. But so round 4 was another 3-player pick for us.
Yeah, you guys.
Our
you
day
guys
4, I should say. Yeah, we invested a lot in picks. Greg Woodson was our first pick of round 4. Then we followed it up with Joshua Farmer. And then we followed it up in the 5th with edge Braden Swinson. And out of this group, I think my favorite was Braden Swinson. He had no business being in round 5. I think he could have went as early as late 3rd. Yeah. This is an edge rusher that shows some monster potential.
I feel like I heard of him. Where did he come from?
I think Clemson, if I remember correctly.
I got you.
But this guy has flashes of being a phenomenal player. We don't have great edge.
No. You got one, right?
You got Keon White. You're going to have Christian Barmore. And you're going to have Joshua. You're going to have who we just signed from the Eagles? Milton Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to have him. Joshua Farmer's going to be subbing in between there.
How can you forget about Milton, dude? He's the biggest contract on the
I
team.
know. I'm just used to us being so terrible and having nobody that the fact that we have people is just my mind can't process it.
I get it.
But then you put Swinson on the other side, all of a sudden we have a pretty good front eight, and this defense can compete. I think Craig Woodson's going to be a good safety. I thought he had good potential to be a safety, but with the talent and the position and being from California, you're not a big, well-known school.
Yeah.
That can kind of hurt you a little bit, but these are all positions of need. And when I go down this list, and even the people I haven't named, I look at them and I go, okay, he could start. He could start.
Yeah.
He could start day one. Like
right.
all the draft
needs.
we took was position needs and people that could start day one.
And that's what you need when you're a bad team.
That's how you know it's a successful draft.
Yeah.
When you can look at all the players, like we even got a kicker. We don't have a kicker. He's gonna start. Like everyone can start.
Didn't you guys draft a long snapper too?
Yeah. Well, we just cut our one.
Oh, I got you.
Cardona, but we just got Julian Ashby.
Yeah, I saw that.
But the GOAT and the Superstar X Factor was the very last pick for us, Kobe Minor.
I did see that. Was that Mr. Irrelevant?
No, he wasn't Mr. I mean, he's Patriots Mr. Irrelevant. That guy's got to stay around. When you got a name like that.
Kobe Minor?
Yeah, that's a Subi X in the rough right there.
I'll talk to you about a Super X Factor. It's Shamar Turner. It's one of our guys that we picked. I forgot to mention him. He was another round 2 pick. He's coming out of Texas A&M. Had a little bit of struggles staying on the field his second year, but we watched him firsthand with Notre Dame, and he had a couple good run stops. I think he's a good run-stopping D-tackle. And, with the Bears' defensive line and offensive line, we could always use depth, and we could always use big bodies. So another good pick by Poles just to get someone to compete in that defensive line.
And I mean, a run-stopping D-tackle, obviously you would love for your players to be advanced in both, but like you take a look at Christian Barmore when he got drafted in the second for us, he was and still is mainly run-stop defensive tackle.
Right.
Defensive tackles don't stay on the field every single down. They're constantly swapping out. Why? Because you're going to have some that are more pass effective and some that are more run effective.
Right, and
so
sometimes
if you can get that rotation, which I think he will fit in nicely for the Bears, I think you got a good piece there. And again, in late round, you got to see how these guys play, but it seems like more and more the late round gems have started becoming more relevant than the first round gems.
Yeah, our second round and third rounds are always hitting. Yeah. And that's the thing is, with defensive tackles, you're always seeing left ends and right ends even come in at D tackle just to give a different look, faster look to the guards on a passing down. So I mean, having Shamar Turner is definitely going to help stop the run on goal line situations, and and he can see the field to even be competitive in his first year and see some of the playing time at a defensive tackle. I mean, we did sign Grady Jarrett. Andrew Billings played very well when he was healthy, and we do have Javon Texter as well.
And with Grady, you're gonna have veteran.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
A thing that you and I always say is we look more forward to Friday than the Thursday because that's really where your draft starts.
Yeah, 100%.
It's nice to hit on your first round. Don't get me wrong, but if you miss on the rest of the draft, did you really have that good of a draft?
Yeah.
I mean, we took Drake May, which was great. Everything else missed, and we went. I think we have 4 wins.
Right.
Is that really that great of a draft? No.
Nope.
So, I mean, finding pieces that definitely show flashes of potential, and then signing a guy like Grady Jarrett, who was in his prime one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle at that time, is definitely going to help boost the morale, boost his talent and his understanding of how to transition from college to the NFL.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when you're like we saw it when we were terrible with Justin Fields, who'd you have starting out there? You had all rookies. You know what I mean? Like, no one had the experience of...
Nobody knows how to transition.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, no one has, like, hey, if you want to be good in the NFL, you can do this. No one knew any of that. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a big thing. If you have a veteran in that group of skills, then it definitely, like having Stephon Diggs in your scenario and having Grady Jarrett in ours, it just helps that group out a lot. And the last pick I want to talk about is in round 4. As we traded back, we could have got Cam Skatebo, could have got all these running backs that we needed. We get a linebacker. And, here's the thing is this guy, he didn't even get invited to the NFL Combine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, man, Ruben Hippolyte. I think he's going to be a special teams player, in my personal opinion. I saw him play. He's super fast, 4.42, 40-yard dash. But like I said, it wasn't a need. No. You know what I mean? Three of the picks I've mentioned in the 5 picks that we have mentioned today for the Chicago Bears, none of them were needs.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, talking about the running backs, there was a lot of running backs that went later that could definitely, I would say easily be a starting running back in the league. This running back class was possibly the best that we've seen in a minute. I mean, you have the class with like Bijan, but like that's one running back. We're talking about you had Genty, who is that Bijan, but then you had just as good, just a small gap in between running backs, and you had probably 4 of them that should have been taken.
And the other thing is the Cowboys, didn't they get the Texas guy undrafted?
Yeah, I think so.
Like the Jaden Blue dude?
I think so.
They were talking about him going to be starting.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what? Undrafted?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely a deep running back class, and we passed on every single one besides the 7th round.
We took one.
And we got one.
From Ohio.
Oh, you guys did.
You're going to get used to seeing that name.
Yeah, Trayvon Henderson. He's a good receiving back.
Yes, and I love it. I think Vrabel's going to have fun with it. You have 2 elusive type running backs. This just looked like Will Campbell had full say, and it finally looked like someone was in the coaching position. Love you, Gerard Mayo, for what you did for New England as a player, but it looked like a coach that knew what he wanted and took it and didn't just leave it up to the GM.
Yep.
Will Campbell, Vrabel guy. Absolutely.
Right, and that's the thing is that makes a huge difference is having a coach that knows. Ben Johnson's never had a full draft to himself. He's never been a head coach, so we'll see how this draft goes. You never know. So, but that is our episode for the day. Kind of just touching on our team's players. We think most of them are going to make an impact probably week 3, week 4 into the regular season most likely. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be back next week probably talking about what are we going to talk about?
Probably talk about playoffs. We got playoffs.
Yeah. The Celtics are down 2-0 right now.
I know. It's awesome, man. Gosh. Let's go.
Yeah, it's all good. But, yeah, we could talk about some NBA or something. But we appreciate all the support, guys, and we hope to see you guys next week. See ya.
See ya.